everybody. So now we are actually finally live again, right? Three
Mm.
people today. How wonderful. And welcome, everybody, and happy to be here with you as usual. It's Wednesday, June 19th. We are heading for the other half of the year very, very soon in a few days. I'm always in awe. You are watching Cosmic Guardians with hosts Anne and Corrine and wonderful special guest Bob Eden all the way from Australia. Hi, Bob, and welcome. And yeah, we are going to talk today about the KISS principle, keep it simple, sovereign, with Bob Eden. Welcome, Bob.
Hello. It's all right.
Hello.
I was just a bit discombobulated. Yeah, yeah. I'm new to
So-
StreamYard, and I was just trying
yes.
to stream this to my YouTube channel, but I'll know how to do it next time.
Okay.
Ah, ah.
But we're here. We're here now, anyway, right?
Yeah, in the here and now. Yeah.
And
Well,
you are coming live with us all the way from Australia. That's wonderful. Corrine is from Arizona in the US, and I'm from Stockholm, Sweden. So you see, globally, really,
yeah.
all over the world. How nice is that? And
Well,
to everybody, to everybody coming on here, we are today 3 hours later than usual to bring on our special guy here from Australia because it's 6 a.m. your time, right, Bob?
yeah.
So you have been on with us one time before, and that was April 3rd, right?
Um, yeah, if you say so. I have a short-term memory problem. Just call me Dory.
That's okay. And I sometimes become the goldfish myself, right? In a bowl, not having any memory, but that happens.
Yeah.
So a little bit about you. Do you want me to introduce yourself or do you want to do it yourself? Who are you?
I'm just a simple bloke. I served my time as a fitter turner and it ended up being working as a scientist. And I've had an amazing life, even though psychiatry stole 20 over 20 years of it, the Western medical model. Um, but even through all of that, I've sailed tall ships. I've been around the world um, on cruise liners as an engineer. Um, I've managed folk festivals. I've toured as a folk singer, um, and I've done a lot of inner work. And yeah, it's and I found my mission. I know my life purpose because I set my life purpose to find my own truth. But and that was like a benchmark moment. But my mission found me, and I'm on a mission to eradicate suicide, and I know that it's doable. And ah, yeah, currently there are about 500 million people on the planet suffering from depression, and they do, 500 million in 8 billion. Now that's what I call a pandemic. Um, and they don't have to, and I'm living proof of that. There is a natural way through, but it's yeah, it takes some big work. It takes it took re-establishing my belief in me, which got beaten out of me as a child, and re-establishing my link and my connection to source or God or creation and believing in that. Um, so yeah. Uh, and you write a better description about me than I could ever do, and your bio thing you sent was absolutely amazing. Yeah,
Oh,
you can be my
and
PR manager.
thank you. And it is something we may not touch, um, we try to escape talking about. I mean, depression, because people tend to, and it's very human. It's nothing to judge anyone about, right? But it doesn't feel comfortable because we try to avoid it. And a lot of people, they don't want to talk about it because it's considered very negative, but it's something many experience.
I
Mm.
find I find that a lot of people may be experiencing depression, but they don't even realize it. And they handle it so well that it's like until it really gets to be where it blooms up and hits you in the face, you don't realize that you've actually been in a depressed state. And being able to start to recognize and understand this is a good thing, because then
Mhm.
it can help you from really getting deeper. um,
Well, well, to get back to the KISS principle, keep it simple, sovereign. Um, I changed it from keep it simple, stupid. Because
yeah, that's
because
what we say.
because I'm not stupid, but I am sovereign, and I found in my own journey that the words I consciously choose to use actually shape my reality. So that's why I changed it. And in all things, this may sound arrogant, but I believe that the KISS principle is a fundamental universal principle, and it applies across all dimensions, all parallel universes. It applies everywhere.
Mhm.
And so, with depression, keeping it simple, um, I've got an amazing intellect. My intellect's 150, so go figure. Um, but I couldn't think my way out of depression, and it
Mm-mm.
was only when I learned to silence my mind, and that left this lovely empty void where I could clearly hear what my heart and my body were telling me. So for me, that's why I call it the gift of depression. It was more of a spiritual wake up call, and going through that, it was it was a rite of passage. It was my inner knowing, and I think everybody within their heart of hearts has got this inner knowing. This no, I'm not supposed to live like this. I'm supposed to live like a dolphin and be leaping about and giggling, and not have to worry about time managers or filing tax returns or stuff. Um, so I believe we're God, or I hate using that word God, but creation put us on this planet to live a blissful experience, to live a
Mhm.
blissful life. But the system that we support, either subconsciously or consciously, is set up to keep us suppressed, depressed. Um, for me, we live in a society that's set up to produce wounded children. And what do wounded children grow up to be? Wounded adults. And
Mhm.
so the whole system is set up to um, maintain the status quo, especially with like the Western medical model. Um, for me, that's all about um, people are sick, but we want to keep them sick. We're not interested in cures because curing people is bad for business. And for me, that's the bottom line with that.
Hmm.
So, yeah, yeah. More questions.
More questions. Yes, go ahead, Corinne.
I just wanted to say, I love the way you think. I've been working a lot with people that are moving out of that state of being captive in the system and in the matrix, and into finding their way and coming out of their depression. And words are critical. Just changing the words makes a big difference. And Anna and I have been talking a lot about how words affect our entirety. And
They do.
it gives us a different perception of how we're going to look at something. And there we go again with that word perception. It just keeps popping up. But working with breaking the chains that have kept us slaves, And this is a beautiful thing you're doing.
Well, for me, it's there have been so many aha moments in my journey of liberating myself. No, enjoying my journey with depression. That uh, I got to this stage where, God, I hate you, Mum. You're always beating me. You're supposed to love me. God, I hate you, you bitch. But you got to love your mum. You've only got one mum, and it was that dichotomy that was tearing my soul apart.
Mm-hmm.
But after I shared my story with Mum about how I felt as a child, and she shared her story about she had a violent and dysfunctional childhood too. It was simply by sharing our stories I could move from hate through understanding that yes, Mum was doing her very, very best, but all she could do was dump on me what got dumped on her. But by having this dialogue, we actually broke the multi-generational cycle of abuse. And so that's why I say my motto is there. That's the motto for my support group: healing by sharing our stories.
That's true. That's true.
I just got to get some milk from the fridge, so I can still hear you.
Yes. Okay.
Interesting
So,
what he's saying, because breaking that mold and and being able to face what brought us to this situation, then being able to embrace it and make it part of ourselves rather than fight against it, and
yeah.
healing that which we have. I remember having the same conversation with my mother, and I literally told her that um, you did the best you could with the tools that you had. I'm an adult now, and if my life is screwed up, then I'm the one that has to unscrew it.
Mm,
And you can't keep blaming them, because in their time, that's all that was available. And
mm.
they're coming from their story also. So it's getting to that point, and it makes a real difference when you can face it, express it, and then let it go. Release it.
Yeah,
Release.
well, my healing wasn't complete until I was able to forgive my abusers, and so it was lovely to close that loop. But
Yes.
I contacted Mum uh, probably about 5 or 6 years after she died to see how she was going, and the spiritual medium just told me stuff about Mum and I that only Mum and I would know. So I knew this lady was fair dinkum, and Mum's message to me at that time was, Bobby, thank you so much for writing that letter, because I am now doing the same work with my parents in the beyond, and that blew me away.
Ah,
You know?
yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Wow. Yeah, it makes me tingle just to recall it. Uh,
I
keep it
think
simple.
that link we have with our generations is as profound as DNA, and being able to let go of that generational trauma and get to that point, that's magnificent, and that's so much part of the healing.
Well, I love this
Um,
phrase. One of my superpowers is I have this innate ability to piss off a lot of people.
I
Ditto.
have a question. I have a question actually, because you talk about the KISS principle. I'm curious about that part. Sorry for chiming in. I've just found a little bit of space here. So what does it mean? What do you mean by that? Keep it simple, sovereign.
Yeah, and it's for me, um, thinking is the weapon of mass distraction.
Yes.
For me, science is the sickness and nature is the cure.
Oh, yes.
So, so when people are locked in headspace, they're never gonna. heal spiritually, because that's not where it's at, For me, my mind is just a tool that I use when I choose, but I'm so much more than my mind. And it was only until I was able to achieve peace of mind that I could hear my heart and hear my body. And now, keeping it very, very simple, my body is so much smarter than me. It always knows what it needs. It's always sending me messages. All I have to do is listen and obey. That inner knowing that comes from my body. And all the wounds of my childhood at that time, for me, they got stored as body memories, as cell memories. That horrible, nasty, negative energy were like lumps of lead in my soul, but my body was carrying them throughout life, and adding more and more weight until the weight got too heavy for my soul to bear. And then in November 1984, I had my first panic attack. And that was my body just saying, right, Bob, I've had enough of you bloody living like a robot, living your programming. It's time for you to wake up, find your truth and live it. So, that was just amazing. It's simple. It's simple.
But it is simple. And many times we complicate it as human beings, because without judging ourselves as well, right? But we come from a society, we have been raised in a certain way, and that goes for the entire globe, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how can I put it? When a baby's born, this is just a generalization, and it comes out into the world, and the world's a magical and mythical place, and then the baby starts its first steps tottering around with its little starfish fingers and learning to speak hello, and the world's magical, and the world's magical. But we live in a system that doesn't support magic. It's too hard for parents to support that, and so the magic gets beaten out of us. And that's a sad summary of how society is living at the moment. But there is change on the horizon. Since 21st of December 2012, we've been entering the age of integrity, and the age of integrity is overcoming the age of power. And I see that wherever I look around the world, more and more people are just like had enough. They're just going, no, this does not resonate with me. This is not how I'm supposed to live. This is not how we're supposed to live. We're not supposed to live in competition. We're supposed to live in cooperation and community. And so more and more people are waking up thanks to the birth of global consciousness, which is what the Mayans called the birth of the internet. The Mayans called it the birth of global consciousness, and they predicted it and got it spot on.
Yes.
So, yeah. It's a great time to be alive.
It is. That's why we came here, isn't it?
Yes, it was getting very dull where we were before. So we came here to kind of, juice it up a little bit. And but it's amazing. I'm extremely pleased, especially when a man comes to these conclusions, because it's a lot harder to overcome a lot of the rules and regulations of being that strong, stoic man, and to be able to embrace wholeheartedly your inner soul. This is amazing, Bob. You've done an amazing job, and
Thank you.
You just gotta keep patting yourself on the back.
Well, actually, to stir up my lymph system, because I'm sort of dealing with prostate cancer at the moment, I've started slapping myself all over the place.
Absolutely, yeah.
Get my lymph nodes going. But yeah, the thing that really frightened me with that first panic attack was I was having these overwhelming feelings, oh God, what's going on? What's going on? And that prompted going to the doctor, going on antidepressants and every antidepressant under the sun over 20 years. And then I realized, hindsight was always great. I realized that what I was afraid of was actually the power of those feelings that my body was expressing. Now I realize that the power of those feelings was simply a measure of how powerful I am as a being. So they were something to embrace and not run away from. Yes, Skipper, you're right.
He's agreeing with you.
Yeah, and again, it was that simple realization that, I've met so many people that die from not feeling, but I've never met anybody that dies from feeling.
Correct.
And it's how I healed. Part of my healing process, other than doing the inner child work with John Bradshaw and writing letters to mum and that was part of the parcel. But the other side was totally physical, and that was I was on my boat and I threw my meds into the ocean. There's probably a load of psychotic sharks out there in the bay now, but I just let my body do what it needed to do to heal the wounds that it was carrying. So it's not something you do in the supermarket because they'd lock you up, But I shook and swore and cried and cried and cried and sweated and just lost the plot. And I think it should be compulsory for everybody to lose the plot at least once a week. There should be a safe place for us to go where we can just go, just lose all this bullshit about control.
Yes. And people that are looking for the path of serenity and peace and everything else, they don't realize that you can't give up the part of us that makes us human and have those days when it's just blah, and that warrior comes out. And this is very, very important. I mean, you can't go around going all the time because that's,
that's bullshit.
Especially when I got into this field and my personality is just so out there and vibrant. And I said, you really want me to work in this field? I don't fit into what I have seen other people doing in this field. And they said, that is why we want you to work there, because that's your superpower. So I is what I is, and that's all I is. So
yeah, and Eckhart Tolle talks long and large about that topic. He just calls it the isness of things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes things, that's just the way it is. And the best thing he ever said for me is totally let go of the need to understand anything. Because if you're trying to understand it, then you're in headspace. You're using the computer to try and analyze and the higher, I've noticed, the higher the intellect, the more complicated the answer that the mind comes up with. But that answer usually begets a whole string of other questions. Whereas by taking the mind out of the loop, sending the mind off to go and do some research or something, just go and bugger off and play, But listening to the heart, I found all my solutions. That's another word.
Solutions, yes.
Yeah, that's a Bob word. That's my spells.
Perfect.
Yeah, I found them all within my heart, and it's that simple. Listen to the heart, express your feelings in the moment. The feelings that I'd swallow today will one day come back and choke me. So I don't swallow feelings anymore. Mm-hmm. But I did for years. I was known as a volcano because I wasn't allowed to express my feelings as a child. So I learned to swallow. And for me, they all just went into a pressure cooker. And then one day somebody'd say something slightly innocuous and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And they get 6 months of stored emotions vomited on them. You know, like I was like Vesuvius. Yeah. So now my pressure cooker's empty.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. How can
Oh no!
someone yeah, oh no, not a question, right?
No, go
How
for it. Go
how
for it.
how, how can someone overcome the fear of actually, I call it grabbing the bull by the horns, to seeing yourself? Because a lot of people are afraid of that stage, probably in the beginning.
Well, what saved me, what saved my life was the work of John Bradshaw, and I came across his
Mhm.
work in the early 1990s. And it's all about, and my partner and I, who was a psychologist, who became a psychologist, so that was the end of that relationship. But we bought all these VHS tapes, and we used to play them 2 or 3 nights a week for a circle of friends. We were all doing the same work. So, like after a couple of months, I became like word perfect on all his presentations. But he's so deceived there that um, I knew I couldn't change my past, but he just gave me the feeling that I could go back and heal my past. And
Mhm.
so by going back, and every time I went back, I could remember more and more times when I felt abused, abandoned, neglected, ashamed, embarrassed, all of those moments. And each of those was a spiritual wound. But it was basically a feeling that was trapped that just needed releasing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is, once we actually have the courage to really look, hear, see, feel from within, right? Not from the brain, not from
Yeah.
our mind, but from here. It's takes less time actually, because we are starting the process, right? It doesn't mean that it's a quick fix or anything, but it means that it's not that scary as we think before we begin, right?
Yeah. And it's only this foolish deception that's been put in place by psychologists and psychiatrists. Like for me, psychologists are just trying to establish what is normal. But for me, it goes to the principle, my principle, which is we're all sovereign, unique, and equal. So if we are all unique, why are you wasting your time trying to determine what's normal?
Exactly. Good.
You know,
Good point.
yeah, it's they've been wasting our time and they've been killing us since the 1880s,
Yeah.
and it's all a lie. Not one of them since 1880, psychiatrists or psychologists, has ever claimed to have cured anybody. One, they can't because they only deal with the mind. And two, they wouldn't if they could because they'd be out of a job in a week.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. The
I,
answers are always simple.
I remember when I was younger, I used to say, well, when things get back to normal, everything will be okay. And then I woke up one day and said, this is my normal, and hallelujah for it. So this
Yeah,
is my unique normal.
yeah. And for me, keep it simple, sovereign. For me, my life is simple. There's only one law, and that's do no harm. And
Mhm.
I've only got one right, and that's the right of self determination. And boy,
Wow.
do I exercise that right.
Good
Because
on you.
yeah, because as long as I'm going through life doing no harm, then I can do whatever I like, And
Exactly.
my moral compass will always let me know whether whether what I'm doing is wholesome or malignant. Yeah,
Correct. Correct.
yeah.
Ah, yes. Well,
It's really, yeah,
go
sorry,
ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead,
Your
Karina.
turn,
No,
please.
your turn. You.
Oh, now I've forgotten it. I have had the pleasure of working with one of my dear friends and clients. And over the last year and a half, uh, being able to, like, utilizing all the things that you have been talking about and giving her an opportunity to find the truth within herself and being able to release the stuff from the past and not have to keep going back, so it keeps wounding her in the present. And it has been a beautiful journey to watch how amazingly well that she has chosen, and I say that, chosen to
Yeah.
change her mind and become who she is and not what other people think she should be.
I think that is absolutely imperative. Like, none of the magic would have happened in my life until I became master and commander of this life that I do create and take full responsibility for it.
That's right.
One of the questions that I ask people, and that pisses off a lot of people, is if you're not creating your life, who is? And if you do not know the answer to that question, then you are victim by definition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So nobody can harm me. You know, I
No,
create
and you.
I create this life. And like with
Yeah.
this cancer thing that's going on at the moment, I love questions. I ask myself this question: okay, Bob, you've created this event in your life. What's the lesson you need to learn from it? And immediately from the universe, I got the answer. And the universe said, Bob, it's time for you to put up or shut up. You either fold back into your programming and go the Western medical model and get bits burnt and cut and sliced and mashed and radiated out of you, or you walk your talk and find natural remedies.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why I created that event, to learn that lesson and have the support of the universe, if you like, in going the natural remedy route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all about, when we have that feeling that it's out of our control, people want to have control, right? We still have something. We have our power in our response. Yeah, I know. I talk with my hands all the time.
No, I was just expressing.
Expressing, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because we always have our response. We are always having the opportunity of stepping inside our power, right? We do.
Ooh,
Yes, this is that.
yeah.
One thing I found in my career is that when people would come, anytime they want to get into natural healing, it's the last thing they think of, especially in the US. And when people would come in and say, oh, the doctor just said I had incurable whatever. And I go, oh, that's wonderful. And they look at you like, what? And I said, because now they told you that the cure is within, incurable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's
so
like,
now, so now you get to do your thing.
yeah, it's like the word intuition is inner tuition.
Exactly.
Yeah. And emotion, energy in motion. Energy in motion is a frequency, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So the clues are all out there and they're all simple and they're all hidden in plain sight. Yeah.
Correct.
You know what? The lady went to a psychiatrist and said, I'm experiencing this and experiencing this. And his reply was, hang on, I hope this is going to work. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Uh,
I love this little guy. He
yeah.
makes me laugh.
Yes.
Oh, oh.
But it takes courage. And part of one of the things that Anna and I have been discussing is finding our own self-love again. And when you start loving yourself, then you're willing to make the changes. And it takes a lot to get through all of our being taught not to love ourselves. And so we have to carefully teach ourselves to be that child again, when it was okay to get up and fall down, when it was okay to try new things, and when it was okay to climb that couch that everybody says, stay off the couch, you know, and bring back that marvelous I can attitude.
Well, the message I got from Mum as a child was, Mum's always beaten me, therefore she does not love me, therefore I'm unlovable and it's all my fault. And the world is a dangerous place because I was always getting beaten.
Yeah.
And then the message I got from Dad was, Dad never spends any time with me, therefore he does not love me, therefore I'm unlovable and it's all my fault. But it was a realization that, you know, I wasn't responsible for my childhood. And on one of my visits back to early childhood, I was trying to think, when's my earliest recollection of when I stopped believing in me? And I was about 4.5, maybe 4 3/4 years old, because quarters are very important when you're little, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Sunday morning, and I got up and combed my hair and brushed my teeth and put on my red t-shirt and bounced down to breakfast. And Mum said, Bobby, you go up and put on your blue t-shirt. You know you love your blue t-shirt. And I sort of stood up confused, thinking, oh, no, I love my red t-shirt. That's why I put it on. But Mum's mum, and she's very violent, very angry, and she's about 80 foot tall. So I went up and put on my blue t-shirt, and that's my earliest recollection of me no longer trusting my inner tuition, my inner knowing.
Yeah.
But once I had that realization, then yeah, it just empowered me even more to trust in my my inner knowing, my intuition. And for me, I worked as a scientist and worked in research for 23 years of my life. And I was a scientist back in Atlantis, you know. No wonder I was good at it this time round. But it's trying to make a decision in Headspace is people write a list of pros and cons, don't they? You know, and then weigh up the pros against the cons and make a decision. With me, living in Heartspace, that process never occurs because the answer is always immediate. Here I am. I'm at a fork in the road. I need to make a decision, and the heart will say, "Yeah, left or right, poof, go." You know, so it's a much more efficient process than living in Headspace and writing all this pros and cons bullshit down.
And you know, the most important relationship we have is the one with self. But we're not taught that, are we? We are taught that we are going to search for it outside, and that's never going to be successful.
Well, precisely. There's no out there. You know, I create my reality out there from what's within me, and
Yes.
my life experience is only limited by my own imagination, and I'm very creative.
So therefore, you can create whatever you want on the outside.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Another thing I did that pisses off a lot of people. Most of my dogs have been terriers, and I was known when I was in research as Bob the Terrier because I gnaw on the bone until I got down to the microscopic truth and anything, you know, the simplest solution. And going back to about 2019 and all this COVID crap, it's a bloody long flu season, by the way. And, yeah, there were all these people, all these gurus out there, um, and they were making decisions based on fear. They were trying to talk about COVID and the vaccine and stuff, but they were using code words like jibby jab and, you know, and 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 I called them out. Why are you doing that? Why don't you just say COVID-19? Why don't you just say vaccination? Why don't you know? Oh no, we can't do that because they'll pull our channel down. So what? We'll create a channel where they can't pull us down. You know? And it was that really pissed me off about all these gurus out there. You know, they were making choices based on fear and not based on love.
Exactly.
And so they dropped me like a hot potato, you know, because I was on all their forums and did interviews with them. And I thought, well, that's okay. I don't want to be associated with people that are making life decisions based on fear. But they couldn't. When I tried to explain it to them, they just walked away. You know, no, oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm here on a mission to spread the word. I said, yeah, but all you're doing is spreading fear porn. You know, you're just putting out videos on what's wrong with the world, with child trafficking and chemtrails, and you know, your total energy focus is all on the negative, on the low vibration side. Why don't you switch your attention and target what's beautiful about our world and what we can create? You know.
Exactly, because what we are feeding, the energy we feed, that's going to also grow for us, for all of us, right?
Well,
And
I believe it. You know, where attention goes, energy flows. Simple,
Exactly.
simple.
I'm not really sure of the exact percentages, but I'm thinking that 90% of people that are really human want to have compassion and love and work from the heart. And we've got 10% that are just trying to control the whole scenario. And when somebody's going through a situation and then the doctor comes very, very solemnly and says, well, you know what you have, only 2% of the people have ever survived. And that means, you know, that the 80 have died. Well, guess what? I'm going to take the 2%. You know, I mean, but it's hard when you've got so much negative coming down on you. But all of these little souls that are radiating this enormous amount of positivity, we're breaking through that, and this is beautiful.
Yeah. Well, apparently, for the shift to happen, it takes 1% of 1%, and I reckon we're pretty close to that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
and because the evolution of consciousness is exponential, our ascension is assured anyway.
Exactly.
Because we are ascending through the age of integrity, and integrity says it all. Personal integrity. There's no room for lies or deceit or corruption in integrity. There's just no place for it. So we've won. The game's over. Just sit back, grab your popcorn, and watch the movie. Hey, we have won.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
This is
You
funny.
know, it's always when we are, it's good to be aware of the world, right? But as you said before, we focus and we need to steer our focus on the world we have, the beauty in this world, what's
Yeah,
coming from within, because otherwise we do create more of it. And I agree with you. We already won.
Yeah,
yeah,
Already.
yeah.
Yay. Let's celebrate.
that's true. That's true. I'm ready. You know,
You ready? Good.
I'm ready, you know.
Oh, Skipper.
So,
Skipper's just
you,
found my plastic milk bottle and he's chewed the top off, spilled the milk all
oh,
over the floor, and now he's licking up the milk. Now, good
Oh,
on you, boy. Good on you. You like milk, do you?
he's great. He's unique, just like all of us, right? That's
Oh,
beautiful. you have a saying that we put up in the article, and I just love that. And you say, I could not think my way out. I had to feel my way out. Feelings are
Exactly.
healings.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
I love that.
yeah. That's so. Again, it's simple. Like the opposite from feelings are healings are thinkings are stinkings,
Oh, yeah.
and stink comes from something that's dead and rotting, doesn't it? You know.
That's true. That's true.
And
But I
Descartes was
think, yeah, no,
Descartes was
go ahead.
wrong.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Descartes was wrong when he said, "I think, therefore I am." That's bullshit. You know, because I experience this life through my senses, through my feelings. I feel the warmth of the sun on my skin. I smell the sweet tang of the rotting mango. So I actually experience my life through my senses, through my feelings. So for me, I'd rewrite his statement and say, I feel, therefore I am.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You both guys are really good with words, you know, really good, both of you.
So are you, Anne. You know,
Oh,
that's
yes.
Yeah, thank you. But in a different way. But yeah, I have it in me too. I can be, kind of
But
finding something to.
I love the way that she takes our words and then she just weaves this beautiful expression of how a person is feeling from the words that we have said. And every time she does this, I feel all this joy in my heart and I just want to create more because she's got such a way of making the words come to life. And I'm going, I might have written the words, but she breathed life into them. And that's
Oh,
beautiful. It is
thank
beautiful.
you. Thank
mm,
you. And that is because we're all different. We come from different angles when we have the courage to follow our senses, right? I always say that, we are born with all our senses, but the problem with this world or the challenge is that we are taught we're going to follow the logic, the mind.
That's
And
true.
that's never going to bring us to the place we want to be. It's going to bring us to depression, to feeling weird, to not fitting in, all of those things, right?
Correct.
well, it's amazing the Sufi tribe in Africa, in Egypt, um, and they're he's just passed on. What was his name? Hakim Awayam. He was a archaeologist, but he's also Egyptian, and he was born in the Band of Peace, where the pyramids are. And he said, once upon a time, we used to have something like 365 senses. So I'm
Mhm.
just hanging out to get the rest of them. And
That's true.
I do have a new sense, and I call it my sense of noticing. And it's like I'm going through my life, but I've got this drone that I control that's looking down at me in my life as I go through my life. And so I'm noticing what I'm doing. And that allows me to notice when my conscious life intention is actually at work. And I recommend everybody set their own conscious life intention. And mine is I am here to have a gentle, joyful, loving, healthy, and abundant life. And that's my conscious life intention. And the I am here to have is my command to the universe, but also my address to the universe. So the universe knows where to deliver. So at the end of each day or second day, I'll just sit back and get in touch with my sense of noticing and then notice how my conscious life intention has actually been at play during that time. And so, it just reinforces the power of that conscious life intention. Yes, I can see where it's working there. I can see where it's working there. So that's my sense of knowing, noticing. And within the silence of my heart, I found a place I call my knowing. And my knowing has no words. It's a feeling. It's a feeling of
Mhm.
calm. It's a feeling. It's how I connect to source. But also, it's a gateway to a place I call the universal library of all that there is to know. and other people call it the Akashic record. So it's within the silence of my heart resides all this magic, and I'm just a simple bloke, as I said, and if I can get there, anybody can, but you can't get there by going out there. It's all
Exactly.
within.
You have to go within and you have to listen to someone who can inspire, and you do that.
Yeah.
Both of you, right? But
Yes,
you also, Bob, you do inspire. Yes, please, Corinne.
I like it when I'm speaking to someone and they say, "Oh, well, I believe da 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 da," and I said, when you allow yourself to go beyond the belief and you connect to the knowing within, that is when you begin to know where you belong, because it is the knowing, it is that inner knowing. It's not what somebody else, a belief system is something else somebody gave you.
Yeah.
Knowing comes from within.
Yeah. Yeah. And because we're all sovereign, unique, and equal, the Sioux principle, I am the only expert on my life.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Again, simple. How many more examples do you need?
Not many more, right? But one thing that is absolutely exquisite with what you said, when we say I am, what we do, we are talking to our higher self
Mm,
directly. So when I'm
yeah.
stating I am, that I am, or I put in other words for it, like I am loving myself, I am appreciated, I am abundant. I'm stating it to my higher self. And when
Yeah.
people, like, they have been taught and grown up to do, they put frames on things and they say, but I can't do that, or I can't. But we need to expand coming out from that, right? And
Mhm.
Well,
that is exactly what you do when you go within.
well,
Yeah.
when I set my life purpose, which is in 2005, um, I set my life purpose to simply find my own truth. And how do I know what is my truth? Whatever resonates with my heart. So I started questioning everything and realizing that all I'd previously held as true was a load of bullshit. It was all lies. I was so bloody angry.
Mm-hmm.
I've been fed a pack of lies and took them in like a well groomed, programmed Robert the Robot, you know. But it was only by questioning everything I could throw that rubbish away, and I found my truth was actually 180 degrees away from what I've been told.
Yeah. We have someone in the chat here saying something. It's actually Sonia. Hi, Sonia. I know you hear us. She
I done
says
yeah.
you can fight depression, especially if you got good people around you. What do you have to say about that, Bob and Kareem?
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Well, I say that with the love that you can compassionately allow people to feel, there again with empathy, not sympathy, and
Yeah,
allow them to be able to become who they really are. Love can give them the strength to look within themselves. And I'm a lover too, because that gets things moving, because in that heart center, the heart center even has its own brain. And
yeah,
and that's what I love about the Heart Math Institute, is they're proving all this, quote, scientifically, but that also helps the people that are skeptical, that it's not just our imaginations and our woo-woo. It's actually, you know,
Yes,
really.
and a whole lot of people. Thank you, Sonia, and you are wonderful too. But anyway, people have usually a lot of opinions, but opinions they are coming from here, right? So that's not going to bring you to where you want to be. because it's
What
opinions. But we are born with all our senses because we need them in this world. But the world has taken over and taught us that we use our brain, our logic, but we're not going to listen here because that's going to get us to a bad place. It's the opposite, right?
Mhm.
for me, all opinions are worthless. They are like
Yeah.
hearsay evidence in court. They are not grounded in personal lived experience, which
No,
is why
No.
I only ever share what I've experienced, because you cannot gainsay it. It's, this is what happened to me. This is what I experienced. This is what I did. You can't chop bits off of that, because that is my truth, and it is indestructible. And that's where the power of each of us lies,
hmm
in just expressing what we've lived through, what our story is.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, I've got
And
to go in a few minutes, and so
absolutely. So, starting off here now, then, to thank you, and we talk as much as we can. Thank you, Bob. Really appreciate it. And we have you on again
yeah, love
if you
to,
want
and
to.
yeah, and by that time I'll have learned how to stream this live to my YouTube or Facebook channel.
If you tell me next time, this is not supposed to go out there, but I say to you here, tell me before, and we can put it in through the StreamYard we use, right? So we can make it happen that way. You
Yeah,
can grab it from my now, okay?
yeah, I just started to follow the prompts here. Stream this to your audience, but I didn't want to interrupt with the flow of a discussion.
Okay.
So for anybody that's listening, if you want to contact me, just do a Google search on the gift of depression, Bobby, and everything that I've produced will be revealed. Dun, 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 dun,
Da, da,
dun.
da. And I put a long URL to an article, but actually on angelplaceonearth.com you can find an article about Bob, all the links to his YouTube and everything. So, and I'm going to smash everything on Facebook and social media and stuff of that nature, right?
Good on you,
So,
darling. As we say in Australia, good on you, darling. That's all one word.
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. Thank you
Right,
so
folks.
much.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. So that was really wonderful.
That was incredible. Yeah. It's it's reassuring when you hear somebody else's success on things that you are implementing into your own life. And this it's just kind of like saying, yeah, you're picking up that information and you're utilizing it. And it was very, very interesting, you
It
know.
was fantastic. And like Bob said, if he can do it, or I can do it, or you can do it, anyone can.
That's
But
true.
it's not going to go through the logical mind. It's going to come from the heart. It's going to come uh, from courage of actually encountering and meeting what you have been experiencing if you have been going through challenges like most actually have, right?
Exactly.
But it's not, before we take a step towards healing in this way, we tend to fear quite a lot. Fear prevents us actually from healing because it doesn't allow us to move forward and grabbing the bull by the horns. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
So,
I like when they said that fear is false evidence appearing real,
yeah,
you know, and it's fed to us on a daily basis, so it's kind of hard sometimes to uh, to regurgitate it before it becomes harmful. And and there again, you get all these people that just think that their way is the best way, and all they're doing is just causing more aggravation. So,
yeah, but if we say it like this, each and every soul are unique. We are unique, all of us,
Absolutely.
right? So each
Absolutely.
and every one of us have our own way of resolving things, approaching life, moving forward. But we are put into frames. This is how you should do because 100 people before you did it this way. They were successful. But maybe you are not one of them, right? So maybe you need to approach something your own way. You have your own way and trusting your own way of doing something.
And then, getting to the point where you trust your trust.
Exactly. Exactly.
That could even be a podcast. Trusting yourself, Uh,
Yeah, that's great.
you know, that might be I'll just jot it down because my memory kind of comes and goes
I got it.
and
I got
have
it.
you got it? Okay, she's got it. So what did you think of that conversation?
Very uplifting. He's got a sense of humor, and he's spot on.
Can you hear what she's saying?
Yeah, I heard it. We're still alive, right? So you know that.
Pardon?
We are still on air. Okay?
Okay, fantastic. All
Fantastic.
right.
But that's great. Come on, Roxy. Do you want to come on
Oh,
so we
sure.
can see you? Or
We're live. We're live.
Oh, I can come say hello.
No, we're live. You're gonna
Oh,
you. I know. She goes. Oh no. She's not quite ready for the camera.
I think
Oh,
there's a lot to
so,
say.
but we are eagerly waiting for you when you feel confident. No pressure. Okay?
No pressure. Ha ha ha.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So
But
I think that yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I was when I told him that it is marvelous when a man actually is able to find his way through something like this, because they're really given all kinds of more barriers. Don't feel emotion, don't cry, don't have a connection with that stuff. It's not manly. And to be able to just do it and come to these conclusions, you got to give him a lot of credit
A lot
for
of credit. It takes
yes,
courage, boldness, and everything.
correct.
Everything. Yeah. And it's a little bit like, sorry, this world puts a lot of labels on men and a lot of labels on women, right?
Yeah,
As women,
yes.
we are supposed to, be caretakers, adapt, being very fitting into everything. And I think neither of us are like that, right?
No, we can show our okay, from the peanut gallery. This, she says, trust yourself. Made me feel good to be of my own sovereignty.
Oh, how wonderful.
You know, and this is amazing because we all have had an opportunity to at some time feel in that depressed mood, but we can hide it and we can keep going through and then we can kind of work through it. But it's something that is so quiet that you really don't know how far you are into it. And just having, I feel, someone be able to see you
Yeah.
and meet you where you are and just be there so you can kind of go, oh, there's a light there. Something to move up to. So this, he's done a lot, and there's an awful lot of people out there that are, I'm sure, very, very grateful that he had the courage to do what he did.
Yeah. And it's wonderful, actually. And we see him, we honor him, we appreciate him.
Yes, yes, we do, because that is extremely courageous. It's a
Yeah,
step
yes.
out of other people's norm into your norm. And that can vary, and that's what makes it beautiful. The earth would not be as brilliant as it is if it didn't have such a huge variety of life and interesting things. And I mean, the magic. I'm sorry, I have a love affair with.
It is magical,
You know,
right? Yeah,
yes,
it is magical. So, are you ready to wrap up the
I
show?
am. I am, and looking forward to our other conversations.
Exactly, and I do too. And I'm so happy that we are on this path. We are on this journey. We do this together. We are finding people that are very courageous and interesting. And I found you, and we found Roxy. We have a lot of good things, right?
Yes, and your friend says hi, Miss Roxy.
Hello.
Hi, Roxy.
Hi.
Yeah,
So, I'm going to do the end of show announcements then, if
that's
that's okay.
wonderful. Thank you.
Great. And thank you, everyone. You have been watching Cosmic Guardians with host Anne and Kareen, and today we have enjoyed special guest all the way from Australia, Bob Eden, discussing the KISS principle, keep it simple, sovereign. We do intend to be live with you every week on Wednesdays and usually at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Sweden, and 8 p.m. Greece. But today we were 3 hours later to honor our guest and not waking Bob up in the middle of the night. So we are so happy that he actually came on with us. Thank you so much, Bob. And our next live will be on Wednesday, June 26th, with me and Corrine, and we will enjoy special guest Adelina, as we had also a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks or four, maybe. I'm losing time. She's going to talk about angels and ascended masters, miracles beyond the ordinary, plus your questions and free mini readings. And we do go live at facebook.com/cosmic guardians, youtube.com/at angel place on earth, the little mark at, the little A. And you can find us at the same places, facebook.com/cosmic guardians. And we have a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/cosmic guardians. A lot of slash here, right?
Mouthful.
So thank you so much for watching us and enjoying our wonderful, special, great guy from Australia. And I say love, light, peace, and joy to all of you. What do you say, Corrine?
Love, life, and I'm going to add that piece in there because we do enjoy that. But laughter. Laughter
Yes,
is the bubbles that makes everything go.
that makes everything go round. So
Exactly.
thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.